Huh. So, we are live. Well, we're not live. I'm live. You're not. You'll just be seeing this video once it's out. So, that goes for a very professional intro, but nevertheless, back on point. What I wanted to discuss about today is a potential match that apparently no one is thinking about at the moment, or very few people are considering. But let's recap for a little bit. We had Michael versus Devon, which never happened, and everyone wanted for this match to happen. Then we had back and forth challenges from everywhere popping with Gennady and other people. Then eventually Michael offered Devon the match. Huge build up into the match. The match just recently happened. Now we saw the result. Devon won, completely dominated, which put a lot of attention onto where he stands today at the world level. Also about Michael, but let's not focus on that for now. The thing is, Devon is once again in the brightest spotlight that you could have, and now everyone is talking about Devon versus Levon. But another interesting match happened very recently, right after Michael versus Devon, and that was Matt Mask versus Ermes Gasparini. So the idea is that, again, we saw like a turning of events where now Ermes took his revenge, sort of speaking, like, yeah, I guess you can call it a revenge, on Matt Mask after losing to him a few years back, and the whole after polls controversy, whatever. So now the tables have turned, and Devon won against Michael, and these two have been going back and forth, winning each other over and over and whatever. And also Ermes versus Matt. And now if you put the two side by side, obviously you have Devon, obviously you have Ermes, but Ermes, not only did he defeat Matt Mask, but also on any given day, Matt Mask versus Devon would have been quite an interesting match. They had pretty tight and close rundowns in the past. So Matt is no slouch. He is a potential threat to anyone's throne on any given day if his opponent is not playing his cards right and he shows subpar. He shows up subpar and Matt Mask shows in incredible shape. It's game over. So Matt is pretty much there at kind of like the same level. Not exactly, top, but just, within reach. So Ermes beating Matt now kind of puts a new perspective on Ermes versus Devon, not just because Devon recently won and Ermes recently won his match, but Ermes winning against Matt, like I said, it's kind of like Devon's little brother, like he sometimes calls him. So it's quite a thing to see. And last but not least, you have to remember that just a few months ago, and I forgot, was it in Dubai or in Turkey, somewhere, where Ermes had the practice pull with Vitaly, and I covered that. Everyone covered that. We won't go into it again, but seeing Ermes dominate Vitaly, at least for those first couple of rounds, just having such a strong cup and completely obliterating and opening up Vitaly, who's top dog, best of the best out there with Levon and everyone else from Eastern Europe. So we have Ermes cracking some wrists with Vitaly. Granted, practice pool, whatever, but we have that. Now, he also managed to defeat Mad Mask, who again is also up there with the big boys. And Devon now just won overall. He took the hammer back from Michael. To conclude, I would say, while we would all wait and see if Devon versus Levon would be possible, I would say, please, if anyone is watching this with enough leverage and involvement and whatever, please do not miss this opportunity to first have Devon versus Ermes, because let's face it, with Levon, it might happen, it might not. We already have some precedents where we know things will not probably go that easy, and even if they will, it's probably going to be much later. So in the meantime, I would say these two guys are at the top of their game, probably ever, like their best shape ever, probably, arguably, depending on how you look at things. But Devon is at his biggest, strongest, probably. Ermes, the same. His weight also kind of topped any of his previous shapes. So you could only imagine what would happen between a Devon versus Ermes match. So first off, I would say, Devon, if you're watching this, although I know you'll probably not be seeing any of my videos, but if you are, or even Ermes, same goes to you. Try not to waste this opportunity, because in my opinion, this would be really interesting. It's, on one hand, it's again West versus East. On the other hand, it's not exactly West versus East. It's kind of like West versus Middle, or you could argue it's also kind of West versus West, because it's not exactly Eastern Europe, right? It's not it wouldn't be a match where a Canadian or an American would be paired up against a Russian or Ukrainian or Georgian or whatever. It's actually Ermes, and that means Italy. So Italy, not exactly Eastern Europe, right? It's Middle Europe, arguably even Western Europe, depending how you look at things. So I think there will be some cool flavor in between other matches, like while we are waiting for Levon versus Devon or whatever else similar. So yeah, that's one thing. And again, second thing would be, what do you guys think if this match would happen? What would your prognosis be? Honestly, in my opinion, if they would arm wrestle today, I think Devon would win. Although I think in some key areas, which are predominantly wrist, but just wrist, with Ermes' way of pulling, I think using those trajectories, I'm trying to avoid the word vector or vectors, but yeah, with those lines, I think Ermes is still unbeatable, even when faced with the much bigger and much stronger Devon that we have recently seen. So on this level of the game, I think Ermes is still a bit, not by much, but still a bit stronger. So if I have to bet on the wrist alone, I would say that Hermes is probably 5 to 10% stronger. But overall, as a match, I would say probably the same. I would say actually not just 5 to 10%. I would say probably 10 to 15%, or even more, would go to Devon's in Devon's favor. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm really curious to hear what your opinion would be if this match would happen. And yeah, until next time, let's see what else happens in the arm wrestling community and world. So yeah, talk to you guys very, very, very soon. See ya.